My dog tries to play that game all the time where like someone will feed her and then she'll run up to someone else in the house and be like, "Hey, it's time to feed me." And it's like,
it's time.
I know for a fact you were fed in the other room.
So that doesn't sound like
You're
something
not going
that
to believe what happened in there. They put my dog food out and then they ate it right in front of me and didn't let me have none. That's so messed up, ain't it?
They pulled out the cup, right? And they dumped the cup over, and then a tornado broke out.
Right in the
Another
middle
dog
of the day.
dove through the window, ate my food, and then
that
left.
dog that I see in the mirror? You know that one? It was him.
All right. Okay.
This is Canine Magic News.
In the first aeon, I was the Great Spirit. In the second aeon, men knew me as the Horned God, Pangenitor, Panphage. In the third aeon, I was the Dark One, the Devil. In the fourth aeon, men knew me not, for I am the Hidden One. In the fifth aeon, I appeared before you as Baphomet, the God before all gods who shall endure to the end of the earth. In this new aeon, I appear to you as CMN.
Imagine that there is a brilliant white light just above.
Is commentary on the magic art.
In the years of the primal force and the dawn of terrestrial birth.
Oh, that was very educational.
Now magic will take place. Don't be fooled by what I just said.
Welcome, everyone. I am someone, please help me, Kennedy, and this is Chaos Magic News. We put the ooh in occult. Joining me, as always, is my resurgent co-host, Donnie Osmond Spare. How you doing, Spare?
I just feel a little bit country and a little bit Kia. Yeah, there you go. Yep. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm having a great time. And also having a great time, it's Coco. Hey, Coco, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Living the dream. Nightmares are dreams too.
I mean, Cthulhu waits dreaming, so that lets you know what we're really talking about.
That's not what we're talking about. What we are talking about is, well, okay, here, I can shoehorn this in a little bit. Say that the Cthulhu
What's a
mythos,
shoehorn?
It's
oh god, that's weird. Like, my daughter just asked me that question earlier.
Well, what'd you lie to her? What'd you lie to her about then? Like, what'd you tell her?
No, it's for putting your foot into a shoe.
Oh,
why would you? But how? Why?
Because like older shoes were like really stiff. So you put that into the heel of the shoe and then you put your toes into the shoe and then you use that to like help put your foot into the your heel into the shoe.
Yeah, so that's where the shoving of like, shoehorn is like, let me like force this in here basically.
Huh.
But the problem is that I'm very dumb. So I hear shoehorn, and even if I've heard that before, I still think like honk honk, like
I
clown
think
shoes.
like those like the clown, the shoes that got like the fucking
it's almost like a
clown
Nike
squeakers
pump,
on them,
but almost it's like a Nike pump, but instead it's honk honk, like that sort of thing.
the Nike honk.
A Nike
Someone get on
honk.
that.
Anyone under the age of 35 is going to have no idea what we're talking about.
Well, good thing our target market is like 43 to like 34, I guess. To all of you listeners younger than that, skibidity.
Well, listen. Once the TikTok ban goes through, we might actually get an influx of young occultists who still don't know what they're talking about, so they think we do.
Hex the moon.
I tried to fight Allah, and he's
too strong.
He's too strong, guys.
Allah got hands. Except he doesn't, because Allah has no aspect.
No. It's arm, leg, arm, head.
Let's
So
go.
like that's two. That's two hands right there. Hands at the end of the arm.
I thought it was head, shoulders, knees, and toes.
Knees and toes. That's a different deity.
Well, harder to pronounce too.
Oh, that's one out of the Necronomicon. Abdul Hazred was telling you head, shoulder, knees and toes.
Okay. So we were gonna open today by talking about I think this is kind of one of the if sigil technique is the first practice that any chaos magician gets, I think this would be the number 2, servitors.
So if you had to sum up what a servitor was in maybe 3 sentences, how would you do it?
A servitor is a entity that you design and create that could perform an action or serve a purpose for you. It's sort of, well, typically the literature for servitors explains it as sort of a psychological phenomenon, or it gives it a psychological metaphor.
This is where I blow the air horn and I hit the X Factor button of a. Okay, sum it up really shortly. It is a entity that is conjured up to act autonomously, fulfilling your will.
Okay.
Right?
Hey, that's a great explanation. Good job.
Coco, can you do better? If you can get it into 2.5 sentences, I think like you win a prize.
Thing, create with mind, make, do thing.
Ding ding ding. All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Make, do thing.
Well, I make do thing, man. Magic is the art and science of make do thing. Love that. No, but I think it's not nearly as important to say, oh, are you creating this wholesale? Are you calling up something that is going to assume the form that you're calling it with or whatever? Is this because Peter Carroll talked about them as a sort of a psychic splinter.
Right. And that tends to be the language that gets used about them to this day. Some people try to make the argument that it is not a splinter of the individual psyche, but of a greater collective psyche, deep mind, as some people have referred to it, collective unconscious, that sort of thing. The overall theory tends to try to, if not directly theorize, that it has some sort of psychological component to it, that it at least gives it the metaphor of taking some sort of aspect of your own mental process or your shared mental process with this collective mind and splintering it off into a separate being to act on your behalf.
Makes sense.
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. I think when it comes to servitors, what it comes down to is when you have a specific intent that you want to carry out, but it is not, you can't confine it to a single time, space, whatever you'd want to call it, of like, I want this thing to happen within this time frame, I want to find a new car that I can afford, that I really like, that has 16 cup holders. Like that's a pretty straightforward one. But if your intent was something more of like, I want something that is going to be on the lookout for good vehicles that I want to find consistently, because I've decided that my new side hustle is going to be like flipping cars. That's like a bad example, but it's one of the, but say you wanted some sort of entity that was going to somehow be on the lookout and push good deals on your radar consistently. That's something that would require a certain level of autonomy and able to act over a long period of time without a specified end goal of like, stop here. And that's what a servitor would be. Now, you can make the argument, because there's like, when it comes to Goetia or stuff like that, there's like lots of local spirits or minor angels or demons and stuff like that kind of would fit that bill, where you could invoke them and they're going to carry out an ongoing pact or something like that. But I think what it points to is Christopher Hyatt referred to it, saying he got it from Crowley, and I still have not found the quote that he's talking about, but it was the notion of the transcendent other, that there is the thing that you reach out to, and that the trappings of ritual magic, or in this case of creating a servitor with certain qualities, you are throwing these out there so that this transcendent other understands what you're trying to get out of it. And I'm only bringing that up because the more conventional understanding of it is the idea of, I am going to ascribe qualities and ideas of how this servitor is supposed to operate, and then I am going to sort of charge this entity with a certain level of Gnostic intent or something like that, and then it's going to be up and running, which is also fine, but it does have this idea of creating something wholesale out of nothing. And not that there's anything explicitly wrong with that. It's just, if we're going to talk function, there's more than one way of saying, oh, this is just like part of my psyche. I remember somebody argued with me a while back that, like, what a servitor is that you come up with these qualities, and then some sort of local spiritual entity is going to come on and put on the outfit that you set out for it, basically. And it's like, oh, that's another interesting thought. I don't get why, a river spirit is gonna want to help me find a good deal on this, Ford Ranger, but sure.
Okay, in an odd sort of way, I think I kind of understand it, because you notice that, like, we'll say various nature spirits have been depicted in various sorts of ways. And maybe we can just say that it's the sort of human anthropological kind of aspect of these sorts of things. Like, how is a spirit, a metaphysical entity, going to show up to you anyway? Well, through, like, your imagination and the creative qualities that you can give it to turn something that's completely non-human into something that can be at least, like, poetically understood, right? So you make a statue that's like, okay, yeah, this is like a satyr, and it's like a nature spirit sort of thing. So now you have a nature spirit that's like, okay, yeah, I look like that.
That's the shape I can come on in.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
So it makes sense that, when given the theory of servitors as demons, angels, and even, god forms, that's sort of the greater theory that emerges out of this sort of practice, because it starts with the practical aspects of it, where you can be like, okay, I'm gonna make me a little dude that's, his whole job is he finds rare books for me, or he looks out for business opportunities, or they I don't know, they get me to not eat sweets by poking me in the back of the head every time I try to have a ding dong, whatever. But then it builds to the greater kind of thing of like, well, if I can just kind of, by focusing on, like, whether it's an aesthetic basis for it, like you make a drawing of, like, okay, this is my servitor, or you make a sigil that's like, this is the symbol for this thing that's there, or if it's focusing on some sort of ritualistic feeding of it to keep it going and producing results for you, whatever sort of thing you have to latch onto there to get it to function. If all of that works for making just anything, then doesn't it serve to imagine that a lot of people believing in, like, a specific kind of red pitchfork devil would mean that there's, like, a red pitchfork devil that you can fuck with? Doesn't everyone walking around believing in Jesus or whatever god, wouldn't this essentially imply that these are very similar creatures, and that you can just make any sort of god or entity out of this? Now, I don't particularly agree with that on its face, but, like, I understand the logic behind it. For the chaos magician that's into the kind of pan-psych or psychological kind of model, I definitely get the idea.
So on a practical level, right? Does anybody have anything with servitors that they'd want to talk about? Like, I always think it's interesting with, like, something like a sigil or a spell, right? You would do for the most part, a one-time thing, or maybe like, I'm going to do it this many times. until I get results, sort of thing, where it's like I'm going to charge this sigil or I'm going to do this particular ritual, and then I'm going to either like you might bury the sigil, you might destroy it, but like you finish with it. And a servitor is usually something that you try to find like a base of operations for, where it's like, I'm going to keep you over here. You're going to live in the, you know what? I got like a ginger ale bottle and I'm going to open it up and you're going to live in the but more realistic. Get in the flask. Yeah.
Oh
but
my
no,
God.
but say you have like a drawing or some kind of material or statue or some kind of trinket, talisman, but you'll have a material base for the servitor, and you're going to keep it around. And ideally you're going to keep it somewhere where you're going to notice it. Does that ring true with you guys? Is that
yeah, for the most part. I remember I don't do servitors often. I think when I started doing magic, I did a couple of them just to try and do the thing, but it was never something that particularly was interested in doing. After like doing it and you say, okay, I checked that one off. But I had one that I called the weird dude, that was just this little doodle of like I don't know, he was just like a weird little looking guy, and he had like a flower lay, and he had like a shitty guitar and like these big stupid eyes, and he was wearing flip-flops, and he was just meant to inspire me to make weird music. And I would just keep him as a little drawing on, I think it was either an index card or like a folded piece of paper, and I just kept it next to my screen on my desk. So I would always just focus on him whenever I would I would take in his presence whenever I was doing music.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And you made a lot of weird music, so that adds up.
God. Tell me about it. I should have done one for good music.
That's harder. Coco, what about you? Do you have experience with servitors? Have you made servitors in the past?
Kind of tied into the way that I did like my bind rune sigils that I make, and it like I would use some of them for like longer term, more like, I don't want to say vague, definitely more of a task to be performed over a longer time frame that I didn't really have a clear outcome for what I really wanted. That's probably the closest I ever got to like a servitor. But as far as like the like traditional definition of like, I'm going to have this thing that's just going to be there to like kind of work in the background and like work autonomously from me, I haven't really messed around with that as much.
I had one many, over 10 years ago when I first was when I was a fledgling coyote, back when I worked for Tips, where I made one that he was called Honest Abe, right?
Oh yeah, I remember Honest Abe.
Yeah. Well, because the material base was literally like a penny. It was a lucky penny. So I kept it. I had this one specific one that I kept on me, and the entire point was that he was supposed to make people either through a combination of guilt or fear, because he was like a spectral Abraham Lincoln, that he was gonna make people tip me better. And what's fucked up is that it worked. It's like it was one of those things of like, sometimes you do really goofy magic and like really goofy shit, and then it's like, no, it worked. Like I made really good money doing that. To the point that there would be people that I worked with that were like, how the fuck are you lucking out like this? But it was that was a notable one. I had another one that there was one that was supposed to keep me motivated to do the work, that sort of thing. And the problem with that one is that if you try to do something for motivation, but it requires upkeep, and you don't have the motivation to do the upkeep.
No,
it's like this. It was kind of this servitor that died on the vine for me, at least. And I really thought it was interesting the way Carol talks in Liber Null about eventually all of the servitors and projections that the magician conjures up in their life, they're going to have to take back. And when people talk about these sort of rituals to reclaim their energies or something like that, I always do think it's like, hey, yeah, I wonder how many of us are wandering around with that that drain on you because you forgot that you got like 10, 20 servitors or ongoing magical entities that you tied yourself up with that you never got your shit back from.
Oh, that's a good point.
I spend the whole time trying to tiptoe around the psychological implications, but now I dive right in with this one. From like a Freudian sort of standpoint, we have these idea of these unconscious drives and complexes
banging
that
your mother, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
the unconscious
Yeah,
drive
yeah.
of banging your mother.
Give me
So
the cocaine.
really, what you do? That's my servitor. He's there to make me have sex with my mother and do cocaine.
It's just a penis.
It's just a penis. It's a penis that's smoking a cigar that is also a penis.
It's one of those, those like Roman phallus whatever talismans where it's a penis with wings that has another penis coming off of it.
Yeah.
It's that, but also doing cocaine.
If I could do cocaine with my penis, I wouldn't need no damn servitor.
Just gotta get good.
Anyway, but yeah, we walk around with all these unconscious drives and complexes that are always these sort of psychic splinters, as you were, that are draining us of our energies and our existence and making life harder. When you imagine being a magician where you have a supposedly, at least ostensibly at least, a more directed and potent sense of that mental energy and the ability to work with those complexes, it stands to reason that you would probably be having a lot of unconscious complexes and shit, especially if you're making servitors and then like not dealing with them
Forgetting
afterwards.
about them. Oh, I forgot to feed my servitor for 3 years. Ooh, just finding them all like that, like so many goldfish.
Co-host, how many dead goldfish do you have in your house?
Next segment.
Do we have anything else we want to say about servitors? I think it's a potent area to talk about. There's a lot of interesting things that can be done with this. I know fiction-based servitors are a big thing. People like taking like characters from shows and other forms of entertainment and like making servitors out of them. That's dope. You know, if it's your thing. We all know my stance on pop magic. I am not fun.
Like I got like my My Little Pony tulpa that where it's Applejack and she follows me around and says nice things about me. You know, like it's always that sort of shit. Like my Rick and Morty servitor, some shit like that. And it just doesn't. I'm just
Hold on,
a
wait a
judgy. I'm a judgy prick, and I hear stuff like that and I see stuff like that, and it's like, why? Who is this for? How is this benefiting you? You know, it's Mickey Mouse. It's me. It's the Mickey Mouse notebook thing, but that's okay. It's not, doesn't have to be for me. I do think there's something useful in the idea of servitors. I do think that there's something useful in the approach of just the practical application of like, it doesn't matter what the explanation you have for it of, is this a psychic splinter that I've launched off for myself? Is this some sort of spiritual entity? Is this just the way that idea space, as the Alan Moore and Steve Moore book was letting us in on, is this just the idea of conjuring the rabbit out from the hat where there was nothing there and now there's something? I don't know the answer, but to wonder and question is kind of the fun part. And then also, is it getting results? Also, maybe there is something to that, looking around and being like, oh man, that's a lot of dead goldfish. Let me take some of this back.
You can't take them back to the store after they've died, co-host.
Yeah,
Are
they
you
have
sure?
a strict return policy.
Oh, okay.
It's your fault though, because you brought like 80 of them back.
They
You
were
didn't have to buy
having
the
a
whole
sale.
store.
They were having a sale.
I have one important question. Oh my god, I sound like RFK.
I have one very important
I have a really important question.
How big is this?
How many
big is the
goldfish
skull?
heads can I cut off?
I need the bones.
I'm just popping them off like pop, pop, pop. I'm sitting in the bathtub and I'm sorry. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna ask. So Is Sonichu a servitor, an egregore, or a tulpa?
Sonichu is a curse.
Oh man. Now we genuinely are gonna, because we can't get away from it. We never forget about it. The Discord can't fucking forget about it. Every 2-3 weeks, somebody has to remember that Chris Chan exists. So at some point we are going to approach it, but the ultimate answer is that it doesn't really matter what terminology you want to describe as far as Chris Chan Sonichu. The problem is Chris Chan is not an effective enough magician to do anything useful with them at all. You know, that's the problem. Now, the other end of that though is always the thing about like, man, Chris Chan does all this shit and never faces any consequences. But Chris Chan just spent like almost 2 years in jail, so maybe the luck has run out as far as like the Sonichu Tulpa, whatever. I don't know. Either that or my shorter answer would be you'd have to ask Alan Moore.
Get Alan Moore on the podcast just to ask him that one question and make him leave.
This interview is over. In it.
All right.
Can we please move on?
All right. So we're gonna get the jokes out now because we had a very nice intro topic there for once. We've done 2 in a row now. I'm pretty happy with that. So let's completely ruin it again with our ongoing segment, Banish with laughter.
He. Ho ho ha ha ha. He. Ho ho.
Wow. Okay. So I didn't.
Ah, psych. You thought. There you go. What you got for us?
Give me just a second, y'all, because I have to send this to you so you can see it.
I thought he was about to like give us a second because you just blew out my fucking eardrums with your stupid ass laugh.
All right. I sent it to the group chat, so now we can all see it. So all right.
Oh, those look really pretty.
They do, but read it. Here, I'm going to read this thing and you guys can see the pictures. Hey, y'all. For spooky season, I designed some nightmare catchers. I hope y'all like them. You can find them on my Maker World page or Patreon if you're interested. And I'm going to even say that this is someone named Caleb Williams with a K. So go check out their cool stuff if you're a fan of dream catchers that have
the
Goetia symbols and like pentagrams and shit.
Are those
the page that this got sent to was called I'm High and This is 3D Printing. So like fair.
Sounds
what
like
were you say? What were you saying, Coco? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, are those iron crosses hanging off of it?
I think they are, but
oh god,
I don't know if they did that like intentionally. They might just
be
the
a
design.
Nitwit.
Yeah. Then again, this is like the sort of like bullshit left hand path Nazi type demon Goetia symbols you see. I'm not 100% familiar with which Goetic symbol this is. But
this is my 09A catch.
It looks like it's got. It looks like it has like a cartoon red devil tail in it. So I don't know how serious I take it.
This is my OC Goetia. Please don't steal.
This is Levea Bathmet. He's my original character. He's my original demon that I made. Here's my problem with this, right? Because the person
everything, every fucking thing,
it exists.
We had a listener. We had a listener send this in with I don't know if I should name them. If not, I don't know if I'm gonna ask them if we should name them, and if I'll edit it out if not. But you know,
if not, it'll be right here.
A guy named Russell Smith sent us this, and he had the wonderfully funny comment of join the Patreon and you too can summon Asmodeus into your dreams.
Oh Jesus.
I was gonna say, so that was sort of my thoughts. It was like, wow,
you're
gonna
funnier
take
than
like
us. You should come on the show.
You drop this, King. Handsome the podcast. No, but if you believe in the woo-woo of dream catchers, which is already like a step too far for me, I don't know. I mean, well, I can understand it actually. I can even understand it in like the who was it? Was it Bohr that had the horseshoe?
The
Yeah,
horseshoe.
in the
Niels Bohr.
yeah,
Works if you believe it or not.
yeah, I can appreciate it in that sort of way. But you're gonna get the dream catcher, and then you're gonna put like devilly shit all in it, like I don't mean to sound like a Christian, like, oh no, you put a pentagram onto a dream catcher. Whoa.
No, but it just feels like edgy.
It feels on the one hand super duper edgy, like ouch, it's cutting my hand holding this picture on my phone. But like on the other side of it, it's like if you take it seriously, like why the fuck are you gonna put the demons in your dream? What the hell? That's not good at all.
If you wanted, because I've been thinking about like we had the episode talking about dreams and thinking about the idea of ritualized methods to invoke certain types of dreams. Hell, Cios in the Discord, we all did some night gaunt shit where part of it is putting a sigil like under your pillow to try to get weird dreams. So on that level, I get it, but it's great idea, very questionable execution. You spent so much time thinking about if you could, you've never considered if you should, and you're hanging iron crosses off of a Goetia dream catcher, and it's just questionable. Like I got a lot of I would say that I have a lot of thoughts, but I got a lot of vibes maybe, and the vibes are off.
Here's the thing, right? Out of all the Banish with Laughters we've done so far, I think this is probably the least worthy of ridicule because they do look very well made, actually.
Oh no,
like,
they look
They
quality.
look quality. So, but
they're good enough that like if you wanted like just the disc with the seal printed on it, this person did just great. Or they did great. They did just fine. That's the thing. It's just like the making it a dream catcher thing is a little weird. And
it's like seeing like a really well made broccoli and asparagus pizza. You know what I mean? You're like, this looks very well done, but like
it's a no from me, dog.
There are two ends. There's two ends of this that should not be together, right?
Yeah. Do they do commissions?
I don't know. You can go find out on their Patreon or whatever. Caleb Williams with a K.
We could make a Rat Boy dream
catch. And I'll need it because I can't get the Rat Boy out of my dreams.
Now here's the problem though. It's as they I live inside. I live inside. Stop. Now here's the question, right?
The voices, they're relentless.
It's a dream catcher catches unpleasant dreams. Does a nightmare catcher catch all your good dreams? And is that why you put a demon on it? And if so, why do you want to give yourself nightmares?
Yeah, that's the real question here. Like,
what is this?
Why are you trying to give yourself nightmares?
Because you're real edgy and you're like, I don't even have good dreams.
I mean, I hate to feel like
my best dreams are the ones that are just black and nothing.
Sometimes sometimes dreams make me an absolute baby where it's like I have bad dream where like someone I love died or something like that. And I wake up just like, that was awful. Why? Like that horrible. My whole day is fucked right now.
I only ever have one recurring nightmare.
Is it that one where you didn't study for the test?
Oh, okay. I have two recurring nightmares.
Is it that one where you're on a podcast?
Yes. How'd you know?
I have bad news for you.
All right. Now it's time for everyone's favorite segment where we get to ask.
Oh, I'm supposed to just do the little intro thing like I'm some kind of dancing monkey for you. Is that it? You're just supposed to say
one
that.
job.
And no. You know what? Fine. I'm bitter. Y'all do it.
Hey guys, what's in the news?
That was terrible. And
and we have to do it. I want you to realize that that's what we do now. That's what we did.
It's my
only line. What's in the news, indeed?
No.
I said what's in the news indeed already. No. It's over. It's done. You just got to accept it.
Fine. Well, let's see what
He's so thrown off. He doesn't know how to handle it.
What's in the news? There, was it that hard? There, fine. All right.
What's in the news indeed?
Starting with the earliest headline, youth activists released thousands of live crickets at anti-trans conference in London.
Oh yeah,
The
I remember that
conference-
story.
Conference hosted opening remarks by J.K. Rowling was put on by the LGB Alliance. Which is you're exclusively like just we're all the gay stuff, but not trans. No, that's the line. Because if we cut them off, maybe we'll be palatable. You won't
Look,
be palatable.
Irish and Italians, you're fine, but we gonna have the Serbians moving in?
Yeah. Just I don't know how else to put it other than like releasing a bunch of crickets into your goofy little meeting. That is what, like, because it's not violent. It doesn't.
No.
Nobody was hurt, but it's definitely like a super out there way and a pretty good way to get people to not want to show up to your meeting, or at the very least, they're not going to sit there getting crawled on by creepy crawlies from the Monster Maker if you if you do that. I mean, like it's a good move. If you want to disrupt things, that's a really solid move.
I was to say, more people need to be releasing crickets to interrupt things, because that's fucking fantastic.
Oh,
How
man.
long
But-
will you refuse to humble yourself before me? Let my people go so that they may worship me. If you refuse to let them go, I will bring locusts into your country tomorrow. They will cover the face of the ground so J.K. Rowling cannot be seen.
Oh boy. All right. Because trans includes non-binary, and non-binary people love frogs. That's just like a fact. You can
Yeah.
go on tumblr.com and ask that, and everyone's going to be like, absolutely.
Does that still
So-
exist?
We're not going to touch that right now. Elon hasn't bought it. Elon hasn't bought it yet, so we're okay. But the point being that it would also make perfect sense if they sent frogs next time. That would be an equally understandable plague.
I think they did that to Australia and it didn't end well.
If you invited the non-binary people, they would have had frogs with them who would have eaten the locusts
Oh,
or the
that's
crickets.
True. That's
So
true.
it's really your own fault.
It's been pointed out that a large chunk of the LGB alliance is just cishet people. So like,
So you're also
Yeah, you mean-
liars.
yeah. Well, you mean it's the thing of like the queer community by and large kind of support one another, which is a good thing. You know,
They
it's
are
really
bi
good.
and large.
So most of them aren't willing to just cut each other out like that. So the people that are part of the LGB alliance, a lot of them aren't, they're not an LG or a B.
Unless that B stands for bigot.
I will
The
say
B
again, on the
stands for black mold.
Oh my god. Oh.
It is a great act of magic, though. I think even the jokes aside about casting a plague of locusts, like, putting a bunch of fucking, what were they? Were they grasshoppers, crickets?
They were apparently like just a bunch of crickets.
Yeah.
Just
Just the idea of just total disruption by something that is just, first off, unseen. Like, no one's seeing that coming. You could have given those people, like, all the warning in the world saying, hey, we're going to disrupt your thing. And they never would have thought, the plague of cricket, the classic
obviously
move.
a bunch of bugs. Yeah. So that's good. I mean, there's something to be said. And take even if you wanted, because, whatever, I crack a beer and say trans rights, that sort of thing, ignore that part of the episode. This could have been about like a city council dispute over a zoning permit because someone wanted to have a water buffalo in their backyard. The idea that somebody's response was like, man, what's going to really get them? Box of crickets. That's That's just a great move. It's unexpected.
And it fucking accomplishes
Yeah,
what
it
you need.
did what you're saying.
You're not
It's-
having that fucking council meeting.
It does make me think almost of the Black Jinn hex that Peter Lambert Wilson talks about, where like the big part of it is if they had, so imagine you release the crickets and then you put like a note saying like and this is just the first plague if you continue, and then you have like some crazy seal at the bottom or something like that on a weirding somebody out and going, oh jeepers, I think I got me a hex upon me. That would be a great move. A bunch of crickets and then like a spooky symbol at the bottom of a scroll or something.
Oh yeah,
I'm getting the willies just thinking about it.
If I could carve it into a door, that would be the only way to make it any spookier.
And if it couldn't have happened to a nicer group of folks, so
right,
like really 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if there would be like a more, because like wasps, bees, or something like that. Then like maybe somebody getting hurt.
You'll get like an assault charge or something.
Stink bugs.
Yeah, stink bug's probably a good one. Really any little critter that's not gonna just like attack you. You could put a bunch of daddy long legs. Just be weird. Ooh, centipedes would be a good one.
Oh no.
Oh, you could just. I was gonna say you could do earthworms, but they're not fast enough. It probably kind of wouldn't. It would just be like, oh, there's a pile of worms. If you got a shit ton of them and like threw them all over the place, that would work because then they'd be wiggling and touching
like,
stuff.
It's just then people are just like, ew, I gotta clean up all these worms.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a mild inconvenience.
Everyone's mildly inconvenienced until that worm's in their ear.
Here, we'll move on. We could talk about the hurricanes that have absolutely decimated large parts of the American Southeast.
And just get used to it.
Yeah, it's the new norm.
It's just really death every hurricane season.
I don't want it to sound like we're resigned to it. It's just very sad.
I mean, I am. It's what am I going to do about it? They fucked the planet.
I don't want it to sound dismissive or anything. It's just like there's very little that can be done about it until we want to, like, I don't know. We're going to pump stuff into the upper atmosphere to deflect the sunlight. Maybe like it won't solve our problems, but maybe it would cool the planet. I don't know. I don't know enough of the science to know if it's even feasible that we could slightly geoengineer our way into a slightly more habitable planet, because we're still going to keep burning the dinosaur blood.
I love that band.
Me too, man. I saw them back in the early 2000s at the Garden. Oh, I got so arrested that night.
In other news that is tragic and impossible to stop, Israel is conducting more retaliatory airstrikes against Iran. Isn't it just amazing that Israel has managed to attempt to destroy an entire people in their own country and still finding time to attack others?
Other countries, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
maybe finish this drink before you open another one.
Like, I get it. Iran attacked them, but it's because this whole shit is going absolutely insane.
Somebody on their soil, you know?
Yeah.
The problem is that at one time, maybe from effective propaganda or just not really seeing the bigger picture, a lot of folks looked at it like, it was America, Israel. These were civilized, moral countries fighting against oppressive, tyrannical dictatorships and stuff like that. But now it's like Israel killed somebody on Iranian soil. It's like, oh, well, Iran is a terrible country ruled by, an evil regime. And now it's like Israel is a horrible country run by an evil regime that attacked another country, and somehow it's gonna rope America into it and do war, and it's gonna create like World War III, That's all it is now. And it's just really like it's much like the hurricane thing, where it's just depressing, but there's also very little to be done. I do keep turning over in my head and saying, like, where is the flashpoint that people can organize around? I can't just point at individual people and say, you didn't stand up for. It's like, what are we supposed to all light ourselves on fire in front of the White House? Like, what is the average individual supposed to do when we have no political agency, and most of us are just caught up in the struggle of trying to make sure that we're going to be able to eat, or, pay our rent, or, be able to tuck our kids in at night without feeling like the world is going to come down on top of their sweet little head, you know? Well,
Watch
like
Dancing with the Stars. That's what you're supposed to do.
Oh,
I mean,
who's
it's
dancing
one
this year?
and you can be mad and be like, oh, if more people stood up, but it's like, yeah, but in what way? Because remember the Kurt Vonnegut thing where it's like, oh, all of the artists focused all of their energy on the Vietnam War into a single weapon, and that weapon was about as strong as a cream pie from a 5-foot ladder. When it comes to the military industrial complex, the demands of Das Kapital, and the absurd amount of money that Israel is feeding into political PACs to get people elected all over the country, we're not going to stop. We're not going to stop. America is not going to stop its support, and Israel is going to keep doing what it does.
Yeah. And it'd be different if like we were living under this sort of like totalitarian regime where everyone knows that like, we shouldn't be supporting genocide and we shouldn't be, doing half the things that we do in the world on a daily basis. But we don't. We live in a world where a sizable portion, I'm not going to say like half the fucking country, but a sizable portion of the country really supports things like, hey, go genocide all the fucking Palestinians. It's their fault for picking up the rock. The entire population of the Gaza Strip is a front for Hamas to kill Israeli babies or something. You know what I mean? Like there are people that are completely deranged that are just average people walking around that support shit like this. Not to say that they even support the government as such. A lot of them are like, oh yeah, I hate the state, but Israel, they have a right to defend themselves. If someone busted up into my house and demanded food and to not be shot, I'd shoot them twice just for talking. It's troubling. There's no, it'd be one thing if we had some sort of mechanism to affect like legitimate political change, some sort of, what do you call those things? Parties? It'd be nice if we had those, but but we don't. We have a two-party system with two right wings, as Chris Catrone often quotes.
Back to the hurricane thing real quick. Federal emergency response workers operating in North Carolina during the aftermath of Hurricane Helene were told to evacuate over concerns of armed militia threatening workers in the area. So that, when we talk about no faith in institutions, this is the dark face of that, where it's like, there are people that are so twisted up in all of this that they not only do they not have faith in it, they don't trust them, where it's like that we want to run them out. We want to keep them away because FEMA and stuff, like amongst other things, is at the center of conspiracies, things like, oh, they're going to put us in the Walmart camps, and it only takes a handful of nuts saying like, we're going to go shoot these motherfuckers, that now people that were a large swath of people that probably needed help are not going to get the aid that they need, at least not nearly as fast, because they got to get the people that are coming in to help are worried they're going to get shot at. I'm not sure that I see this as a case of like, oh, this is the power of narratives and stuff, because I don't know if this served anyone's agenda beyond maybe if the idea was you wanted to paint the federal government as the bad guys, because now it's the twofold issue of like, oh man, they haven't done enough to help, and it's like, well, you ran them off with guns.
I mean, the response from the federal government has been shit, but that's not because it's a conspiracy. It's because they're incompetent.
It's also a huge funding problem because there's no money for it, because we sent all of our money over to buy a bulldozer.
Hey, there's other things that we spent it on, like Ukraine. We did that too.
Oh yeah.
Which is just a terrible segue
onto our the other way that World War III is going to break out, Ukraine, which has been going on forever now.
Here, just real quick. If I were to tell you that 3 countries were involved with this next headline, one of them obviously being Ukraine. What would the other two be, you think? If you've picked North and South Korea, you win the pony.
Coco, buddy, if you saw like footage or pictures of North Korean troops on the Ukraine line, like, getting ready to dig in and fight for good old Russia, what percent would you be like, this is staged, or like this is a deep fake AI?
Potemkin troops.
Yeah, exactly.
Potemkin troops.
I really do wonder, like, are they gonna say like, yeah, we're gonna send people, and then they're gonna like take a couple photos so that they can put it out there for the propaganda machine, and they'll be like, no, okay, now come back, we can't afford this. We do not
Those
have
are our
the
only
time.
fed citizens. We got to bring them back.
We only have 10 guns in the country, and you have 3 of them right here. You need to come back.
But because of North Korea's support of Russia in the Ukraine, we also now have reports of South Korea I think they're only giving weapons, is what I was told.
Sending weapons and stuff.
Right.
Which,
So
like,
they're not deploying troops, but just
this is how
getting more
this
involved.
Is how it starts.
Yep.
It's how it starts, man. It's insane to watch proxy wars. A proxy war implies like, oh no. We're funding this side to beat these people because we don't want to go to a direct war. This is like a
This is
6
like a real
degrees.
war.
Well, I was gonna say this is like a 6 degrees of war sort of thing, where it's like, and this country hates this country, and this country sent troops over here, so they sent weapons. It's almost like, how many degrees of separation between people killing each other, of like, how involved are you?
It's like the Kevin Bacon thing, but for world global conflict.
Yeah,
But for war
exactly.
crimes.
Right. Let's get some news that isn't depressing.
I have
Does that
bad
exist?
news. I've got more and more sad things to tell you. Dead man's autopsy shocks doctors. He had 3 penids. Triphalia. That's when there are 3 distinct penile shafts. Incredibly, the man likely never knew.
How would you not know? How would you not be telling everyone?
Maybe you're bad at math.
I forgot to carry the 1. In the 1.
You know what it is? It's like you're just really embarrassed. So it's like, you don't want to talk about it too much. And you just figure it's like, well, everybody's got 3.
So how did he not know? Like, I'm guessing they were internal then,
Yeah,
or something.
Okay, I'm looking real quick. I was looking at this earlier, but okay, for the record.
All right, internal
70
or incel?
Ooh.
The man was 78, so like he had a good
Oh
long
my
run.
god.
He had a good long run as a Dick Cerberus.
Dick Cerberus is my new pulp character.
Is that the Isn't that the lead singer of Electric Six?
Let's start a war.
Oh,
Start a nuclear war. With my 3 dicks. 3 dicks. 3 dicks. Okay. This is only the 2nd case ever recorded. So
Wait, there's another one?
who's the other guy? Yeah.
Yeah, what?
The other guy was Johnny 3 Dicks, who fucking told everybody.
Everybody.
Hey guys. Johnny 3 Dicks ripping the crotch out of all of his fucking shorts. Okay. The only recorded case was an infant born in 2020. Oh, okay. So this is like a microplastics thing, isn't it? This is like a microplastics and lead in the water, asbestos type. Like, we're mutating, trying to Darwin is finally catching back up with us. It's like, man, the planet's going to shit. We need to step up. Birth rates are declining. I know. We'll put more dicks on them.
That
That'll
weird
get the-
intersection where Darwin and Freud meet.
Women just going like, "Oh yeah, that's exactly what we want. More penis." Yeah, way to go. Brilliant decision, nature.
Do you guys think that like polyamory would be more common or less common if we all had like 3, like if we all had extra genitals laying around? Would we be like, look, nature wants me to have more of this because that like why would I have 3 dicks if I wasn't supposed to find 3
Baby, I
ladies?
saved the good dick for you.
baby.
Baby, she's just a left one.
Left Twix, right Twix. Halloween just got that much more exciting, guys.
Oh my lord.
Now here's the thing, right? There's so much like phallic worship that ends up in occultism, right?
Oh no.
If you had 3
Where is
dicks,
this going?
I'm just wondering, like,
You're asking what time period and culture you'd have to be in that if you had 3 penises, they'd be like, all right, he's the one. He is literally him.
At the bare minimum, you could charge 3 sigils at once, right?
That's a fair point.
Do you think that they all came at once or like they were like separate? I guess would be the question.
Do you think it was like he could do like the wave where it's like 1 1 1 and then like 1 1 1 or like it'd be like 1 2 3 3 2 1 like it goes back and forth or
Well, no, the firing order needs to be balanced. It would have to be 1 3 2.
Oh yeah. Oh man, his 2 smaller penises were found within his scrotum, connected to a singular urethra that ran into his primary penis. The man had 1 normal penis and 2 smaller penises inside his nutsack.
Wait, so they connected back into the main dick? So they were like bypass valves?
But they went into like his scrotum, so like they couldn't go anywhere. Like imagine you're like taking a piss and then you have somehow peed inside yourself.
I was just gonna say I knew piss was stored in the balls somehow.
The guy is
can't beat that.
Boy. Never mind. Okay, moving on. Boeing built satellite explodes in orb, littering space with debris.
They're gonna have to kill a lot of people to get over this one.
Thank you. I mean, I just read the headline, so I know. So now they're gonna have to kill me, and y'all 2 heard it, so they're gonna have to kill you.
I was gonna say the satellite's last transmission was I found some documents, and then it just exploded.
Man,
Oh boy.
they're 2 for 2 for space objects not doing what they're supposed to.
Oh man. What is going on with and I also read a thing about Boeing having a really bad fiscal quarter.
No,
like,
really.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
I wonder why. Is it because your shit keeps blowing up and
you
you're
keep
working
killing
and
people
and you're killing people? Yeah. I mean, like, it's always funny when corporate, because like we always talk about like, man, corporations can do whatever the hell they want. Nobody stops them because Das Kapital. But it is funny when like a certain amount of, and I don't know how much of it is bad press or how much of it is like the bad press is just indicative of a very poorly run company. But either way, it's like, man, you guys are fucking up left and right. And it's like Boeing posts worst quarter in 3 years or some shit like that. And it's like, oh, gee, that makes perfect fucking sense, doesn't it?
Stop killing your accountants.
Yeah, if you stop killing
Here's the problem, right? If you saw Boeing has record profit year, you would also be like, yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, true. I don't know what the satellite did is the problem. And I haven't really found anything that said much.
And no one ever will.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this has to do with whatever was actually contained in the Starliner, because they shot something, probably, like I said, a fractal remnant of an elder god that was too dangerous to leave on Earth. So like this is probably them covering their ass and assuring that this thing stays out in the cold void where it can do the least amount of harm. Or maybe they were hoping that it would be destroyed returning to Earth. But,
There was actually just a beer can being run over by a car. That's a deep cut. I'm sorry. That's from Valis.
Oh, genius. Genius. You're smarter than me. Boeing shoots a pink laser beam into my fucking head.
But then it just kills you.
But instead it just kills me. Yeah. The last transmission from the Boeing satellite just said King Felix, King Felix, King Felix. Huh. Weird.
Oh man.
Oh, and speaking of transmissions and energies that you need to protect yourself from, Russell Brand has got you covered. He is now selling.
Oh, God, no.
And what he has you covered in is very, very cheap bullshit
Coco,
merchandise.
Do you have 180 pounds?
I mean, we could all
I think
stand
I'm
to
a
lose
little
a
bit
few.
more than that, but
I keep drinking like this, man. I'm definitely gonna be. No, but if you do, now listen. I'm just gonna let you guys know that if you really want to protect yourself from magical, destructive, and negative energies, I can do a lot better than 180 pounds. Because just for $5 a month, you can go to the CMN Patreon, where I guarantee you will be protected from all assortment of evil energies. But if that doesn't entice you, you can give Russell Brand, a little over $200 American for a amulet. His words, not ours, that will protect you from the devastating effects of like 5G radiation, Wi-Fi router transmissions, and just bad vibes, homie. You got to watch out. You got to protect your neck.
Telemarketers.
It'll protect from telemarketers?
I mean, it's not going to protect from any other shit. You might as well just say whatever you want, right?
He really missed an opportunity by not releasing this right before Burning Man. Like, he could have made so much money.
Poor timing. There's that bit where you can talk about comedians that were somewhat progressive or whatever, sort of pivoting to conservative ideas and then eventually just going full circle right-wing grifter type thing. Like that's one thing, right? Because Russell Brand is now amongst, or at least he wants to be, like the Steve Crowder, the Jordan Petersons. Yeah, shit. You said it, not me. You said it, not me. But yeah, the Magick.p for that's fucking terrible. Terrible. I know. I shouldn't say. But bottom line, like there's these people that just like they've gone from being sort of fringe idea people, a little out there, and then becoming like right-wing grifter, selling dumb shit to stupid people. But at the same time, it feels almost like he missed the mark. I feel like a lot of the mass hysteria around like 5G, my Wi-Fi router is killing me sort of stuff, I feel like a lot of that has already died down.
Yeah, but I feel like there's still a lot of those folks in that community, and there's probably some crossover of like the eat the red, eat nothing but raw meat crowd.
What he should have done was said that it will protect you from like your cell phone exploding.
Oh God.
Because we didn't even talk about that when it happened, just because the way the episodes broke out. But like I was already thinking like, man, I wish I was a right-wing grifter right now, because I would be selling like the anti-globalist pager cases and stuff. Like, listen, you gotta protect your electronics from the globalist conspiracy. And if you buy this case, it's reinforced. It's reinforced carbonite from the Dagobah system. It's going to block it's going to block the signals that cause your electronic devices to go kablooey and take out you.
Prevents the frogs from turning gay.
Yeah. There's nothing that'll prevent the gay frogs. I mean, see what we were talking about that earlier, but it will at least keep your HP printer from taking out your cat. Because you see, they've got
It's cheaper than buying new cartridges.
Also true. Look. Save money when your printer runs out of ink. Just explode it. That's the CMN price saver tip. I was really thinking, like, man, somebody is gonna do that, right? Like somebody's gonna do like the cell phone case where it's like you don't want your cell phone to explode because listen, they got a microwave beam that they just aim it at the lithium battery and it goes.
Oh my god.
The real answer was actually much more horrifying, but I thought somebody was gonna sell that shit, and Russell Brand really should have just pivoted with that and been like, yeah, it'll keep your stuff from blowing the fuck up.
We have a right-wing grift product we could sell
right now.
Yeah,
like a Glock 9. Protect yourself from the
people who think different.
Protect yourself from different ideas with the Glock 9. Do we have anything to say about like the pipeline of like pseudo spiritual guru to like right-wing nutter butter selling you stupid shit?
It just feels like desperation to me. Like it feels like I didn't get to the point where I wanted to be doing the spiritual stuff, so now I'm just gonna start selling you like thinly veiled racism.
It really is just selling dumb shit to stupid people.
Yeah.
Because I don't really think there's much to it. Most of the people that would fit that bill in my mind seem to be folks that either have no actual self-awareness at all to begin with, and the attempts at being a spiritual guru were complete nonsense. Those are like the what's that dude's fucking name? Oh god, hang on.
Jason Louv.
I was trying
Coco,
to say it again.
Coco, stop saying that, man. God, bro, come on. We invite you on the show one time and you insult our dear friend.
Our dear friend.
Whose name I said wrong on another podcast because he sucks so much.
I don't know if he sucks. I just don't, I definitely know some opinions he has are absolute garbage and like despicable. But I'm sure other stuff about him is fine.
I just think he's boring. Anyway, the guy I was thinking of was Joshua Fabia.
Who's that?
Joshua Fabia was a spiritual guru type guy who somehow like con manned his way into being a manager trainer type for a MMA fighter named Diego Sanchez.
I thought you were gonna say for a Wendy's.
Anyway, the point
Mr.
being,
Fabian, is it meat, cheese, bacon, meat, cheese, bacon, or is it meat, cheese, meat, bacon, cheese, bacon? I'm just wondering.
Anyway,
those nuggets are burning, by the way.
Fucking god. The point being is, when you can't make it as the spiritual guru type anyway, you'll find a way to use the skills you've gotten as a spiritual guru, usually pulling in like culty followers and stuff, to kind of worm your way into something where you get to further manipulate people and have them dependent on you. That tends to be the pipeline.
Okay, one last like spiritual question here. In the 21st century, do we think that there's really a place for the spiritual guru? Because
I think so.
Well, here's my 2 cents, right? Aeon of Horus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is gonna be sorry. I don't want to. It's one of those where it's like I understand by saying that it's like now I'm throwing Thelema into that, and the Thelema is not the only worldview you can work with, but like. If you were to look at Aeon of Horus, what is that if nothing but the notion of the rebellion against the father figure is the only means of spiritual progress? And every spiritual guru is like a pseudo parental figure.
Fair.
I think that's a myth. I wouldn't characterize the Aeon of Horus as being expressly against the father figure. I think it's about a different sort of understanding of the individual in the metaphysical and cosmic process of existence, as opposed to the older times of death and rebirth, where the individual was seen as we'll say, either a transmigrating figure or as something transformed by
migrating figure?
J.K. Rowling, when did you get here?
Oh my God. All right. We're not getting into this then because we'll go on too long.
All right. Do we got any? Oh,
We got one more we got to talk about, unless you got another one.
It's like we do need to talk a little bit about the election. And I think that there are two headlines that convey the deathly serious nature of this current election, right? The Insane Clown Posse endorsed Kamala Harris. I pay taxes, the fucking anus, and I'm happy about it, says Mr. Violent J.
Well, wrap it up, folks. You lost the Juggalo vote. It's over.
I can't
Michigan
wait for
on
Kamala
lock.
to go out on stage and say whoop whoop.
I hope you all know when she wins now, they're going to be like coming out spraying Faygo everywhere and shit. They're going to be wearing their fucking makeup in public
Damn,
again. We can't. That's fucking bullshit.
Shit, Violent J lost a lot of weight. Good
Yeah,
for him.
he's doing real good, actually.
I mean, they do say that the makeup adds 10 pounds, so like he looks really good. It's I keep hearing things where it's like the Kamala Harris campaign is running around getting endorsements from people you can't fucking stand. But they're talking like, Dick Cheney, who I thought was I could have sworn was dead, but apparently not because he's endorsing. But then also like the Insane Clown Posse. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's like they're not, it's not just people that are awful politically, it's people that make awful music.
No, the Juggalo audience.
If you're a Juggalo and you're listening to this show, just get over it. I do like big money hustlers though, so I'm with you there. Turns out Mr. Donald Trump was just a big money hustler.
Oh my God. Can I say something?
Sure.
Homies.
Fucking magnets, how do they work?
How do magnets work, man?
All right. You got anything else?
Okay. No. We gotta do the other half so that we're fair and or balanced. Donald Trump works fryer at McDonald's. Because,
apparently Kamala Harris has been talking a big game about how she worked at a McDonald's, right? To like prove that she's like a regular human being and not a android constructed incorrectly in her lab somewhere.
Well, it's sort of the thing of like, because he went to one that was already shut, like it was shut down.
Yeah, they shut it down. They screened people he could serve, quote unquote.
Yeah, this was a photo op, which is fine. That's like, it's like the Kamala Harris when she has like the Charles Mingus album out. It's a photo op. It's supposed to make you look a little more approachable or likable or a little more
and
human,
not like
or
you
whatever.
have titanium underneath a synthetic flesh.
Yeah. That's all. Yeah, that's all fine. But it is also strange in the idea of like during his presidency, people talked about, it's like, man, that dude, like whatever sports team it was, I forget because it's been a while, but he bought a bunch of McDonald's and fast food. And apparently like he drinks 14 Diet Cokes a day, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So now it's almost more of like, yeah, of course he can work that fryer real good. He's been watching him this whole time. Every time he goes in there, I've been studying it. And that synchronistic way, right? These are not related, but there's a through line here somewhere. Because McDonald's shares fall after CDC says E. coli outbreak linked to quarter pounders. It's like this man shows up at a McDonald's and then bad shit happens to McDonald's. What happened? What?
This is the woke liberals. They planned this. They broke into the McDonald's and they replaced them with their bullshit vegan meat.
I got E. coli because of woke.
Used to be you could get E. coli, but now the fucking liberals want to cancel E. coli. I mean, if I want to get food poisoning, that's my goddamn business.
It's my right as an American.
They're always about some bodily autonomy until I want to, cultivate some bacteria in my stomach.
It is worth noting that man, why are we having so many infrastructure issues? Why are we having so many things where like this is listeria outbreaks in this factory and food recall here because of this outbreak of this pathogen and stuff like that? Gee, was there an administration that stripped a lot of government regulation and oversight into our food? Did that happen? Oh yeah. It's the asshole with the tiny hands operating the fryer right now.
And he didn't wash them, did he?
Yeah, he didn't wash.
Didn't even wash them.
Fucker didn't wash his hands, and now we got E. coli. But it is funny to me, and like I said, in a very like 3 lines of logic, synchronistic sort of way, those two things are related. Those are one is an expression of the other. Just like Kamala Harris getting the Insane Clown Posse endorsement because these are clowns. Because this election is a fucking joke.
Oh man. Well, okay, you want to hear something that is synchronistically connected?
Sure.
This next headline and the previous comments about eating food. Spell casting Kentucky woman arrested for abuse of a corpse, cooking body parts in a pot.
Oh.
A Kentucky woman who had been casting spells was arrested by a police officer after they found a dismembered and partially cooked body at her home. Here's the thing, right? This whole headline makes the casting spells part the thing that you really want to focus on.
Rather than the cannibalism.
Yeah, it's
part.
almost an afterthought.
What spells was she casting?
That's the thing. I've read this whole article, and essentially it seems to be saying that cops arrived after someone called the police, worried or concerned about the suspect's mother. He said that he couldn't get inside, and he walked around. He saw a dismembered corpse in the backyard, just chilling, I guess. And then he was worried that those were the remains of the person's mother. This is the part where it comes out. So the maintenance man said that he and the mother of the accused had a confrontation with her on Tuesday, and the accused corpse desecrator began casting spells and acted aggressive during the man's visit. That is all it says. It doesn't go into details about what, which means that in my mind, at least, what happened was this maintenance man described whatever the hell she was doing as started casting spells on me. And they were like, what does that mean? And they were just as confused as anyone else. So they wrote casting spells on the police report. And then when the journalists arrived, they said casting spells. Like, what do you mean casting spells? And they said, I don't know. He said casting spells. And now we're here.
Now, I was going to say, now, was this like, was she reciting Latin or was she going, lightning bolt, lightning bolt?
She just kept saying Hadoken and Kamehameha and Psycho Crusher.
When the police arrived, she came out of her house covered in blood, and they found a bunch of body parts in the home, including the kitchen where stuff had been put into a warm pot.
Jesus.
Absolutely horrific.
Yeah, this woman clearly has lost her mind, but I'm just very concerned about this notion of like she was casting spells. I had to look at it because like, what the hell does that mean?
What's this known for casting spells? I thought of like she was running around town like Burroughs, like I'm cursing this coffee shop because it's too loud. Or you know what? This Wendy's didn't honor my my coupon because it was expired. So you know what? You guys are getting a curse. You know what the hell? Avocados used to be $4.99 for 3, and now they're $4.99 for 2. So I'm gonna cast a spell to explode your 3 dicks. That's what it would be like if you were known for that shit. It'd be like, oh boy, Cindy's losing her mind again, casting spells. What this is one time when confronted, she started probably going abracadabra, abracadabra, abracadabra. And the guy's like, okay, that's crazy. Bye. And then she's like, well, that didn't work. Better eat my mom. What were they even like? There's so many unanswered parts of this.
And
Yeah,
it
I
only gets
know.
weirder because apparently reports have come out that she was aspiring to be an actress, had like an alias, said this eerie quote in her senior yearbook: "Life is what it is. There are two types of people in the world: those who are forgotten and those who are remembered. I choose to be remembered."
There's two types of people in this world: beef or chicken.
Not particularly magic. If you were going to cast a spell that involved eating your mom, would you? What would your purpose
Would it
be?
come with a pickle spear? It is kind of like satanic panic stuff, though. It's like anytime somebody does something spooky and then like commits a crime, they want to put that out front because it makes it seem like it's a deranged. It's like this person was probably crazy in a lot of ways that had nothing to do with their spooky woo-woo ideas.
See, again,
They were eating a person.
The casting spells part still, it just strikes me that it was like some old Southern maintenance guy who's like, she started casting spells on me, and it's like just like a euphemism or an idiom or something. Or like maybe he just had a thick accent and he said that she was cussing and they thought she said cursing and she just meant she was swearing. And they're like, spells, of course.
Maybe he meant she was like spelling. She was like RESPECT. All right, rounding out the episode, we got something that's real skidibbity for all of you.
I love how it's getting worse.
Skibba-hibba-dibbity.
What the fuck? On that note,
I'm sorry. No. We can do a real. We should probably leave
Can
that
we?
in because it's a good.
Can
It's a
we?
good laugh. It's a good laugh. I mean, like you're happy about it. I can see. But no. I think. All right. We're gonna try to go back to our roots and look at the earlier. One of the earliest episodes, I think like episode 3, it was right around Halloween, and we pulled up some articles talking about Halloween from the perspective of real witches. So we're gonna go and find that opposite energy, and I pulled up an article for people who really fucking hate Halloween. It's your favorite group of people. It's my favorite group of people when it comes to people that are really into killing your fucking fun. Do you guys want to know about how to spiritually battle the occult and fight back against Satan's deception?
yes.
Yeah.
Listen, I think if we're really honest with ourselves, we might be able to save our own souls.
Okay. I'm open to this. I just want to say, first off, the website that this article is on is called the Washington Times, which is like some like Gamecast or like game station sort of shit, right?
I didn't even think about that. I was literally just like, oh yeah, it's
No,
Washington.
because it's the Washington Post and the New York Times just slapped together.
Merle,
America's
check on the
newspaper.
Merle, I was reading the Washington Times.
Hold on. Oh, yep. This is owned by the Moonies.
No.
Paul Mooney?
I shit you not.
It's the Moonies?
Yeah.
No way.
I thought I remembered this from somewhere.
How do we explain who the Moonies are real quick? What's the
Oh,
fucker's
God.
name?
Hold on.
I'm pulling it up.
Sun
We'll do
Myung Moon.
Yeah, Some Young Moon. So the Unification Church is a
God.
new religious movement in it's in South Korea, right? Is where it started.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we talk about this during the spooky cult, like the creepy cult episode?
I don't remember if we did or not, but it
I think you might have.
real basic. Sun Myung Moon is a cult leader who, among other things, says that he's the second coming of Jesus, does mass weddings, has a significant amount of pull in the Japanese government.
Isn't he the one that like his son broke off from him and was like, this is a total con man?
I
Or
don't remember.
maybe I might be thinking somebody else.
Either way,
Okay,
I know
if-
he does
now-
a lot of shit.
If you're the second coming of God, why would God give you that receding hairline?
Why would God allow an IRS investigation to happen?
Oh boy, why would you not just shave that dome and be done with it, bro? I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. I say that like my
he is
hair
dead
ain't
now. By the way,
fucked
sorry,
up.
we didn't.
He's
should have
dead
led with
as
that. He is
fuck.
dead. He's dead.
Oh no, it's too
but they're
late.
still around.
Wait. He died in 2012.
Yeah, he's been dead for a
Yeah, he
while.
lived for a long time.
The Mayans were right.
Oh god.
Oh no.
Yeah, so owned by the Moonies, known conservative crazy people. So this is going to be a real good one.
What does this have to offer? By Mr. Derek Manson. It is peculiar how many people consider Halloween to be their favorite time of the year, considering it is a season that openly embraces the spiritual darkness in relation to witchcraft, seances, palm reading, tarot cards, healing crystals, fortune telling, Ouija boards, murder, and horror films, and tales, and many other similar practices. Well, he said practices, so like that's a good sign, right? Don't even go there.
No.
Do you want to read what they define occult as in this?
Yeah, I'm getting right there. The word occult is defined in Merriam-Webster Dictionary as matters regarded as involving the action or influence of the supernatural or supernormal powers or some secret knowledge of them. Thus, the occult is a special, at one time secret, knowledge and interaction with the spiritual realm. Speaking from the Christian perspective, the occult refers to all spiritual interaction and knowledge that is not biblically approved by the Lord.
Whoa. See, here's the thing, though. That is incredibly accurate, kind of. Like, in a way, yes, exactly. That's exactly what they're saying. Because think about it, from the Christian perspective, that's the only way you can define any of this stuff. Like, it's.
I like that the wackadoo Christians that are about to tell me about how I'm going to hell have like a better working definition because they went to Merriam-Webster. Most a bunch of occultists are just like, man, like anything is magic, bro. Like any action of will is magic, and it's like, well, I wiped my ass. It's good magic, man. You did great.
But like, seriously though, I don't know how magnets work. Stop asking me.
Anything the Bible said didn't explicitly say was okay, that's a cult, man. You did 10 minutes of deep breathing. I don't think Jesus said it was okay.
Hell.
Yep, hell. And I don't want to sit here and read the whole article, but we'll go through some highlights. Occult practices and beliefs align with Satan's efforts by embezzling powerful partial truths from the Bible and distorting them to exacerbate humanity's disunion from God, often through idolatry, and open a spiritual door for the demonic to enter through and unite with us. To me, and my perspective here, what Christianity constantly deals with is that they acknowledge that there are spiritual realities to be had. But if they don't match what we already want to hear and expect, it is evil. Does that feel more or less accurate? Like,
that's exactly that's why their definition of the occult is like, if you do spiritual stuff that isn't like approved by the Bible, then that's the devil.
It comes out of the Catholic Church demanding that everyone bow down to the ministry, the priestly caste. The priest, the bishop, the cardinal, the pope, all the way up to the pope, of the idea of the man in the pointy hat who was God's favorite special boy.
Dumbledore?
No, because that's devilly too. Dumbledore and the Harry Potters and whatever the hell a Quidditch is, you're going to hell. Because they didn't say, it wasn't in Leviticus, so you're going to hell.
Going to hell. Yep.
But that's what it comes down to, is that there was supposed to be a guy in a pointy hat and a special dress that tells you how and where you're able to interact with God. And you're not supposed to interact with God too much on your own. You're really supposed to go to him and he'll tell you what to do.
And it also does come from the older tradition of saying that your neighbor's enemy gods are like, demons and monsters that are going to get their ass kicked by my more powerful god, who is badass.
Yeah.
It's like how there's tons of specifically Tibetan and other Buddhist tantric deities where you get a whole lot of like, oh yeah, this is like an evil demon thing, and then one of the Buddhas or one of the Bodhisattvas and their infinite compassion and wisdom transformed into that dude. So we don't worship that guy. We worship the Buddha version. That's like the good version that beat him up like a kaiju fight.
Now that would be a hell of a turn for the Christians, wouldn't it? Be like, yeah, and then Jesus went down to hell and he turned into the devil and was like a better devil than the devil was. So if you're worshiping the devil, you should be worshiping the Christ that is the devil. And now I'm almost William Blake.
And you're almost Crowley.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
But just continually, and I think even when the Protestant Reformation happens and they break away from the priestly caste, they just turn the biblical canon, because remember the Protestants took the Bible that the Catholics had and then threw out more books and said those weren't good enough. So, but they basically rely on the social structure and like the Bible to be their stand-in for the priest caste.
Right.
Where it's like your minister or your pastor or whatever the hell. But they say like, oh, I don't have any authority, you only listen to me because
I'm telling you how to interpret this book because
I'm telling you what the book says, that sort of thing. If you're a spooky woo-woo, there's nothing in this article that is going to surprise you. But like we do, I do want to talk about it because Christians, the predominant spiritual paradigm in this country still, and in the Western world still, maybe not all of them, but a large enough a portion of them, this is what they think. Like they think that there's either the Christians who view the occult as like benign hooey, who have like, oh yeah, you guys are just off the path, or there's people that look at it like it's legitimate devil shit. And the reason is because they don't approve of personal spirituality. All spirituality must go through the filter of orthodoxy.
Well, hang on, because it's more complicated than that, right? And there's a good quote in here that I think demonstrates two things. But many New Age beliefs also pull fragments of biblical wisdom and distort them through self-worship. Parentheses, Hindu, Buddhism, and Satanism.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah,
Completely misunderstanding so many things here. First off, self-worship and Buddhism. That's like, well, you tried. Because it's not just the idea of any sort of religion that has what it is ultimately is that they have a totalizing religious view that colors everything into if it's not Jesus and it exists, it's the devil. And if it's not Jesus and it's real, then it's a delusion made by the devil. So it all goes into the same fucking pocket. Everything that you do that is not Jesus is this mismatch of every other thing you disapprove of anyway. Like, you don't have to define it properly or understand it anyway, because the only thing that really matters to them is that this is not the right thing. This is not, like you said, you're at best you get people that think that it's like benign hooey, but again, then it would turn into like, yeah, that's stuff that it doesn't work and it's not real and it was made by the devil to keep you from, accepting Christ and being a good Christian.
Can I read a bit of the description from this guy's book that he wrote called Embracing Our Full Victory in Christ, The Journey from Darkness to Light?
What is this? A
Yeah.
fucking Legacy of Kain game? What?
Hold on, wait for this. Drawing from extensive scriptural study and Mason's vast experience confronting darkness, this guide was crafted from the trenches, not the ivory tower, and includes a collection of testimonies from individuals who have experienced struggles, bondage, and the transformative freedom and healing that God brings.
So
From what now?
What?
To the huh?
what in God's name? What does this guy do? What's he got like a conversion camp or some shit? Like what is this?
He is the founder and president of Identity in Christ Inc. and Identity in Christ Media since 2013.
This guy literally like goes around with a shotgun full of salt like Supernatural. He's fighting demons.
Yeah, like Pastor Mason has successfully guided hundreds of people in spiritual warfare. What the fuck does that even mean?
It means that he got the supernatural Jesus shotgun and he's fucking going
Jesus
down.
into you.
I was waiting I basically what he does is he hangs around outside of Dharma centers and is like, listen, that big fat guy with the smiling, it's because he's laughing at you because it's the devil. Buy my book. They're all devil. They're all devilly.
It's hard to beat the self-worship bit. That's pretty funny. I'm kind of giggling at how bad they fucked that one up.
I really do think that it comes down to a genuine disdain or a genuine aversion to individual attempts at spirituality. It's that you must find your way through this one specific method that we understand and approve. And anything else, it's the same energy that had all of the Gnostic cults obliterated, you know? When somebody says that you can know, because they want to talk about like your personal relationship with Jesus and the Lord and everything, but it's because your personal relationship has to look exactly like everyone else's.
Yep.
And everything else is every other thing. Because it's like, it'd be one thing if they were just like, yeah, tarot and like the Western occult tradition stuff. It's like, that is all, you know, it's like, yeah, that's stuff that's going to invite demons into you. But it's like, instead, they look at everything as, you know, hey, Hinduism, that's devilly.
Yeah,
Buddhism,
yoga meditation,
that's devilly.
That's a paddling.
Yeah, exactly. That's a paddling. Yoga, you did like 10 minutes of mindfulness breathing. You better be careful because you were breathing in demons. And it's weird because it started off
written like, if this was written like maybe 30 or 40 years earlier, it would probably have
just
something
be
in there
blunt.
about like how like digital phones are like evil too.
It would be
Wrestling.
it'd be like how Buddhism is going to make you gay is what it would say.
Yeah, you're right. It would be making
If
you
it was
gay and then take that. Then you would go to hell for that one
Yeah.
instead of just going to hell for the Buddhism.
And it's
Wait,
one of those
Buddhism
things that
doesn't make you gay? Why have I been doing it this whole time?
No.
What the fuck?
God.
Guys, I think we should talk about the instructions on how to fix the damage inflicted by your occult activity.
Wait, what?
To reverse the damage inflicted by occult activity, we must first genuinely repent by renouncing and changing our sinful ways, seek forgiveness from the Lord, and surrendering our lives to Jesus as our Lord and Savior alone. Second, those involved in the occult should find a credible, confident deliverance ministry to assist them in removing any demonic spirits from within them.
I'm surprised that motherfucker didn't like add a link to his fucking website.
Well, this is what I'm
or
saying.
like a 10 like a through you know what for
you need to set up an appointment to get the demon out of you.
Well, I was gonna say for $49.95 we'll set you up with the demon removal package. I'm surprised this bastard isn't like, you can contact me at my website or email me at fucking demon shit kicker 95 at Yahoo, and I'll take your money and slap you on the bottom for being a naughty occultist.
It is interesting for me to note that what do you get? You get told that you got to stop doing the occultism, and then you got to go find a guy to get a demon out of you. So that is not like in the Bible. Like Jesus does that, but they don't just tell you that you can go like pull demons out of people. That's not how that works. Like you're doing bad magic, so you got to go to my dude so he can do his good magic.
And the problem is that the good magic, that like the magic, quote unquote, that I won't say any, but like it's the good magic that evangelical Christianity tends to have is whack as fuck. It's really bad,
and it don't even work.
Yeah,
it's like don't get me wrong, faith healing shit is pretty cool. I love how psychosomatic healing can work, but there's probably better ways to do it.
That's also some like pagan ass shit.
Yeah,
when you really get down to it, that's some pagan ass shit.
When there's a guy that's like invoking their god and handling snakes and stuff like that, or like
invoking barbarous names, like
and having divine ecstasy and stuff like that, it's all like really, really powerful pagan-y shit. And then you just like stuck Jesus on the front.
I'll say, and it's the shit that actually works that they do. That's the thing.
That's shit that actually kicker. The stuff that works in all of this is things that you could easily crib for your own narrow-minded, evil, Satan-y purposes.
Yep.
Finally, they must commit themselves to learning the Bible and instructions against idolatry, as to have an intellectual and experiential relationship with the Lord through the power of the Holy Spirit. That's the last part. All right, you gotta like just simple as.
Oh wait, no, but there's a whole addendum to this, and I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but I just want to read this one part. This is not a light switch solution, but rather a refining journey, like the wilderness wanderings of the Exodus, that trains and equips a person to rise as a powerful warrior for the kingdom of Christ.
It's always weird to me when they talk about being a warrior for Christ, when he was the guy that said that the meek will inherit the earth. But also, like,
we're gonna take it and then we'll give it to the meek because we're Christ warriors.
But it's also the same thing as like, man, the motherfuckers that really don't want like that don't want people to have access to healthcare or to help the poor, also are really down with the guy that said literally give away all of your possessions and come follow me.
It's so trite. Like we've been over this a million times. Like, yeah, Christians are predominant, and part of the reason why there's so many terrible bad Christians making money off of it and doing all that kind of shit is because like Christianity is the predominant religion. You know what I mean? There's a lot of grifters in Buddhist temples in Asian countries, you know?
I was gonna say, and like from its beginnings, there was always grifters. Like there's grifters for the pagan religions back in like Rome and Greece and stuff. Like
there's grifters for them now.
Yeah, true. Yeah,
it is a little trite to be like, oh, especially as like occulty, spooky woo woo people to be like, oh, did you guys know that Christianity is bad?
You know? Christianity is stupid.
Yeah, Christianity is stupid. Communism is good. Christianity is stupid. Occultism is good. But it's that issue of like, you do occasionally need to remind yourself that there are a bunch of motherfuckers that like if they had their way, they would make the silly woo-woo shit that you do super illegal. You know, these are people that genuinely see these are people that see that you have different spiritual beliefs and think you are evil for them.
Yeah. And again, we've said it before, like, you know, freaking out about the threat of Christian nationalism is maybe not like 100% a valid position to have. But we will note that there definitely is a contingent of these folks that have decided, really decided that the best solution they can come up with is putting their ilk in political power positions to make shit like that happen. Even if the idea of it being culturally enforceable and useful in parts of the country that are, very much holdouts of progressivism, it would still lead to lots of horrible things happening to people in areas where those wackadoos would be very popular. So,
Oh God, hold on. I have something relevant here because I've been snooping around on their website, and this is just funny.
is it more Moonies?
Oh, it's a Professor Mentalo predicts cartoon on their website.
Wait, what?
Hold on, I'm gonna send it. Fucking died. There's also I've sent a lot of things in the chat of just advertisements, but they're less relevant.
Oh my fucking god, the cats.
The cat.
That's actually content we must share with the listeners. The
Please do.
advertisements on this site include a shot glass that's got a bullet like pushed into it so it looks like it got shot, with Donald Trump on it with when he got shot, and it just says Trump glass with real bullet. And then it has an advertisement for coffee mugs of cats in military fatigues and like body armor holding assault weapons, and they have MAGA hats on, and they're standing in front of American flags. You can get a white one that's got like tan stuff going on, or you can get a calico that's got like black on black ops type shit. It's very, very cool. Very cool.
Clearly
stuff.
AI generated.
Oh yeah, like very much AI generated.
Wait. So this website that just had an article about how like fortune tellers and stuff like that are predicting, like making predictions is like devilish stuff, and then they do cartoons that it's like a fortune teller guy. He's got like the turban and the peacock feather, and he's like it says he's a precognition.
Yeah.
Hypocrisy. No. No, it can't be true.
Jesus, they have 522 cartoons on this. Jesus Christ.
Professor Mentalo predicts, and I don't understand the joke.
Yeah, I don't get the joke here at all. I just thought it was funny that they were like talking about how evil.
It's like non-sequenters. It's like lame duck, the most dangerous game. And then it's Mentalo foresees Biden if he can still hold a pen, begin. And then the next panel says Mentalo insult some lefty joker will blow up our electric grid come November 6th.
That says intuits.
Oh, it's too fucked up. There we go. This is very low res.
Sorry, I was a picture for my phone because I tried
the
saving it.
website
It
is
wouldn't
also
save.
low res because this looks like shit.
It's horrible.
Boy.
Okay, so mentally, okay, all right. Either way, this thing is very, very, very unfunny.
I really do find it amusing because it's not like Christians are alone or that they're all exactly the same in their wild intolerance of differing viewpoints, but it is crazy to me that it starts off, it's like, man, Halloween glorifies all this, this weird spooky stuff, and it doesn't really talk about Halloween at all. It just goes into like, bro, you need to get right with Christ, bro.
It goes
you gotta
into
renounce
like the
your
tarot
ways.
cards, man. Those are bad, and the seances, those are bad. The
But you know what's
yoga,
really
that's
bad? Hinduism.
Hinduism's terrible.
That Buddhism, man, that's evil as shit. That's like basically Satanism.
It's basically saying that Buddhism is like saying that like you are God, and like it's like self worship.
Oh my God, this whole website is an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, I feel like once we figured out it was the Moonies, everything else that I saw here fell into place, because this is all just like out of pocket right wing shit, and the attempt to get money. We hope everyone enjoyed that one. That was a nice little trip back to our roots of reading goofy shit online. So with that, it's time for the good palate cleanser of the show. How goes the work? Don't everyone go at once.
You know what, Coco? I'll let you go first.
All right.
No need to thank me.
Thank you. No, work's been going good. It's been going down some weird byroads as far as my like actual practice goes, and like kind of going back and reading a lot of older texts. I hate to bring it back around to things, but like a lot of Agrippa and stuff like that. Just trying to wrap my head around a lot of that stuff.
I gotcha.
And no, just like it's been a lot more research than it's been like actual practical stuff. As far as practical stuff goes, like I don't know. I did another working with my weird telephone thing that I have. That's always fun. That usually yields really good results. I got this I guess I'll explain that. I got this it's like a lineman's telephone. So something that they used to like connect in on telephone poles to like check to see if everything was working. And I got it at a thrift store for like $5. But it just looks cool because it's like an old telephone receiver with like nothing else on it. And I use that during rituals sometimes, and it always gives like weird results.
Like a spirit phone.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it's like dope. That's a really cool, like if you're gonna, if we're just talking about like weird shit that you find that it's like, yeah, this feels like there's something really significant that I can use this for. It's like that's got to be very high up on the list of like my spooky meter would be going off like, it'd be, code red, like you have to buy this.
Oh, it was like I was walking through the store and I was like, that is a thing.
That's it. Well, that's cool. Any like super notable results about anything, or just sort of like,
yeah, like as far as like results go, like things are kind of moving a little bit slower. I had a lot of big workings I did recently, and then had a lot of big results from that. But like last couple weeks, I've just kind of been like, all right, we're just kind of doing some like research and slower shit.
Yeah, we're gonna put some feelers out in the metaphysical plane or whatever.
Yeah,
just all right, that's cool.
I've had a lot of like weird synchronicities piling up, like trying to, I guess, point me in the direction that I'm supposed to go, or at least like I'm the direction I think I'm supposed to be going. I'm just kind of following the path. I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience where it's like you've made something, where you've made some kind of tool or like an adornment or whatever, and then something happens and it's like, okay, that means I have to like break this thing down and rebuild it.
Yes,
almost like a call, almost like a call to revisit whatever the hell was going on, or whatever thing this was dedicated or connected with.
Mm-hmm.
So I had one of those things happen. It is actually related to the Zaragoon, which I've mentioned before, but a couple things popped up that just had me going, okay, yeah, I think this is the direction I need to go. And then I've had, as I've explored the Cities of the Red Knight trilogy by Burroughs, I've just had a lot of, as Burroughs described it, with the cut-ups, where it's almost like the future leaking out at you. Just reading through these books that have so much going on and going so fast, you start seeing these things in between the lines, as it were, that show up, and you're like, oh fuck, it's almost like how I described reading the Illuminatus trilogies, or when I read Cosmic Trigger, or when I read The Invisibles. It's like, but in a weird way, almost more pronounced, because things do get more disjointed and more chaotic, and there's just more going on. So that's cool. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, and then you add the Alan Moore, Steve Moore Moon and Serpent book on top of it, and now I've just got, I feel like I have all this raw material, and I'm trying to figure out not so much what to do with it, but like what what am I supposed to be doing with all of this? And I think on a certain level, it is trying to find a way to work with that sort of art magic, as I called it. that creative, trying to find a way to tap into that creative process and do something notable with all these things that are going on in and around my head. Other than that, there was there is a one thing that I can point to, like, got results immediately. There was a wealth ritual that Kennedy and I both started doing, and like we did it. We started saying, all right, every Thursday we're gonna do it, and then what that's turned into is for the past 2 Fridays, I've had a specific amount of money basically fall into my lap twice. It may be coincidence, but it's good enough for me.
Yeah. Cool beans.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm at. What about you?
Well, aside from that ritual that I wrote up that we've been doing, and aside from still attempting to put my office and all of my workspace back in perfect proper order, I've just been on Coco's end of things. I've been doing a lot of research and reading for this thing we're working on. I've had to reread what I consider like some of the foundational text of modern occultism. Like I've reread Null, I've reread ABBA, I've reread
Dancing Queen. Sorry.
I reread book 4. I reread Prometheus Rising, Ray Sherwin's work, and of course I'd been reading the bumper book with Alan Moore. So I've gotten a lot of and I've reread a lot of Grant Morrison's articles on Magick and stuff. I've been rereading all of that stuff to kind of respond to it in a certain way. And in that response, I've also been reading a lot of the people I always bang on from the philosophy side of things, just rereading Bert Dreyfuss and Richard Rorty stuff, just to get my arguments all in a line. As far as my daily practice, I haven't been doing a whole lot more than my usual basic stuff. I've been doing a lot of Tibetan Vajrayana stuff again lately, which is kind of a yearly cycle for me, because around Chaturthi afterwards, I kind of start rereading a lot of those things and getting back into doing those practices. A lot of Dzogchen and other meditative and sadhana type stuff. And then once summer comes around again, I end up doing weirder shit. Pretty typical on this front, nothing crazy. And that's it. So with that,
This has been Chaos
it's
fine.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Please.
No.
Please.
Okay, fine. This has been Chaos Magic News.
The only podcast fully funded by the Moonies.
There you go. As always, if you would like to further exacerbate your disunion with the Lord, you could go to chaosmagicnews.com.
That's
where
right.
we'll
We'll
have
have articles, links to the pod, the occasional interview, just cool little things like that. Pretty much all the things you could ever want from us. And if that doesn't work for you, you could go find maybe a meme, perhaps some witty commentary over on our social medias. We're on Instagram, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter and Threads and Blue Sky and Lions and Tigers and Bears. Oh my. All at Chaos Magic News. And if for whatever reason you find it in your heart that you would like to just give a little bit back, maybe in exchange for a little bit of extra content, a little grease of the wheels, if you know what I'm saying, you could go to patreon.com/chaos magic news, and for the low, extremely low price of $5 a month.
Man, that is low.
God, it's low.
God, it's a steal.
It's like almost a crime. We're losing money giving this content away.
Yeah. Like hell, like you won't even notice that little bit of money, you won't even notice it's gone.
Yep.
And in exchange, you get access to our exclusive Patreon bonus content. Like, how wild is that?
Yeah, right now we should be going along with the occult iceberg, and we'll have more and more stuff coming at you over the next couple months too. Get excited.
And not only that, if you're already a patron, you get to hear us give you a heartfelt thank you and completely be beside ourselves as we continue to be absolutely blown away by the mad support that you guys give us. And that means hearing your name read right here.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Local. Thank you, Cios. Thank you, Pope Loki Sater the 23rd, LLC. Thank you, Andrea WK. Thank you, Obsblick. Thank you, Coco. Thank you, Alexander. Thank you, Acolyte 1 of the Ice Magic Meditation Society. Thank you, Cursed T. Thank you, Fyodor Krasny. Thank you, Venus Christ. Thank you, Tent Athena. Thank you, Bearded Vegan. Thank you, Tremov. Thank you, Tanky Darlin. Thank you, DD Destruction. Thank you, Toziel Obscurus. Thank you, Lavender Ghost. Thank you, Tommy Kelly. Thank you, Double Deered. Thank you, Equinox Painter. And thank you, Jaybird.
He says that, but actually he waits for you to stop listening and then he reads them and then splices them in so you don't notice.
Wow. I can't believe you would dare lie to all the patrons like that. That's incredibly hurtful to them and to me.
Oh man.
And as disappointed as I am in you, that is how much love I feel for all of our wonderful patrons. We could not do this without you. Thank you so much.
We're absolutely flabbergasted by every bit of support that you throw our way. And I'll say it again too, that if you don't want to give us money, that's totally cool, but you could, subscribe on the YouTube channel, leave a comment, tell your homies that there's a weird, spooky woo-woo podcast that you listen to and that maybe they should give it a try.
Yeah.
Like any minor things that you can do to help boost the podcast's visibility a little bit is so greatly appreciated, and it really means the world. And I know that there are a lot of you out there that are doing it right now, and I wish I could kiss all of you on the mouth.
Bully strangers on the L train to listen to this podcast.
Oh shit, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, you
just
could
do
use
that.
violence.
Say, listen here, you rat-bellied motherfuckers. I'm gonna beat every one of y'all's asses if you don't listen to this shit.
Start a website where you demand people repent from their sinning ways of worshiping Christ and instead join the silly haha yuck yuck occult podcast. All right.
Instead of buying MAGA cat Trump mugs, spend that money
right here for some fresh content for your ears. Mugs break. This stays with you forever.
All right.
And with that,
Coco.
Yes.
Would you like the last word?
Don't read anything on the Washington Times.
You know what? That's fair.
Wise words to live by. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hold on, wait. Wait, 4 penises? What?
Oh, God.